Hi everyone. I'm not sure if I'm live yet. This is my first experience with Facebook Producer. Last year it was just regular go live. I'm going to wait until a few people have tuned in. Oh, hi Anna. Okay, cool. I'm glad it's working. Okay, awesome. So people are tuning in. Hi everyone. I'm Ashley Haddle Clemenshaw, and thank you for tuning in to our Facebook Live the night before our Cure for Cluster 5K tomorrow. Tomorrow is our fifth Cure for Cluster 5K event, and we have, I believe, 8 countries participating with more than 130 people. That is more than we have had in any years past. So even with a worldwide pandemic, we have managed to continue to grow, and that says a lot about cluster headache patients and our family members and supporters. So I have a few details to go over about tomorrow's event, and then I want to discuss cluster headaches and misdiagnosis before we sign off. So first and foremost, your safety is important. So if you are, whether you're doing it on a treadmill at home or a park or like a racetrack in your neighborhood, please remember to be careful. Bring water with you and a snack. If oxygen is working really well for you, you can wheel around oxygen with you. I have done it, other people have done it, and it's kind of a cool conversation piece because your shirts are talking about it, and then you've got the oxygen to help talk about treatments. Bring your pets and your kids and have fun with it. You can run or walk at your leisure. So the next thing is the timeline for tomorrow. So I'm going to go live again at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow to signal the start of the 5K, but you can really do it at any time of the day, and you can split it up if you need to. It really just depends on your schedule and your location and time zone. Like if you are in Scotland, for example, and it would be really late at night, please do it earlier in the day. And if you do decide to go at night, put on reflectors or something so that you can be seen by cars. Remember to take photos in your t-shirts. That is one of the reasons for us going virtual. Take a photo of you in your shirt and post it on social media. You can post it on the Clusterbusters Facebook page or your own, on Twitter, on Instagram, but just remember to use the hashtag #CureForCluster, because that will help me see your posts and help me compile them all so we can put them into a montage like we did last year, which I loved. And if you don't want to do that, like if you don't want to post it on your personal page but you still want to share your photo, you can email me directly your photo so it can still be included in the montage. For donations still can be made. There was an issue with some people being able to see how much has been donated on their behalf. So if you're having trouble seeing how much money that you've raised through the race website, let me know and I can tally it up for you. It's been really incredible to see all of those donations come through and all of the signups. We had so many people sign up that we ran out of all adult size t-shirts. I have a few youth large left, but that was really great. There were so many last minute signups. So the proceeds from our 5K go to cluster headache research, And in the past years, the monies that we've raised have helped publish data from the International Cluster Headache Survey that had more than 2,200 respondents. Oh, my dogs are kind of running around, so you'll see them in the background. And you can see a printout of some of those findings in your race bag. Checking in on the comments. Hi everyone, thanks for commenting. So I want to talk a little bit about cluster headaches, and I'm kind of going off of an article that was published in the Invisible Project this year, which is also in your race bags, about what cluster headaches wish society really understood about us. And the first of which is that cluster headaches are a different kind of beast than migraine disease. And this can be really beneficial for when you're talking with people tomorrow too, to point out the differences. To me, I always talk about the four main differences between cluster and migraine, and that's the location and description of the pain. So cluster headaches are strictly one-sided. I'm a righty, my husband's a lefty, and the pain stays around the eye and temple area. And migraine can be both-sided or it can be one-sided, and the pain locations kind of move around a bit more. Another is the agitation. Like, we do not like to sit still and be in a dark room in the midst of an attack. I personally have a heavy metal song that I play on repeat during a bad attack, and it syncs up with the knife. The next is the length of attacks. Cluster headaches only last, not only, but last 15 minutes to 180 minutes at a time, sometimes longer, and then reoccur every day. And the most notable difference that I like to bring up is the treatments. Oxygen works really well for us. It doesn't really work for migraine disease. And, last year, I think it was last year that it was approved, we got our first ever medication FDA approved for cluster headaches, and that was Emgality. And I've heard great things about that from a lot of people who've been using it, which is awesome. The next thing is, these are suicide headaches, and it's really important to be able to discuss the severity of cluster headaches without diminishing the pain of other conditions and the severity of other diseases. The survey I mentioned earlier found that out of 2,270 people, those people rated cluster headache attacks worse than pancreatitis, shingles, migraine attacks, childbirth, gunshot wounds, and kidney stones. And considering we're often dismissed in the emergency department and in primary care offices, it's really important for people and medical professionals to understand the severity and fast onset of the pain that we're dealing with. And next, psychedelics and cluster headaches are an ongoing conversation, and psilocybin mushrooms and LSD have shown to work so well for a lot of people with real and lengthy results. And it's really exciting to not only see the results from past studies like in Hanover, Germany and at Harvard, but the ongoing study at Yale, which I'm hoping we'll hear more about in the next year. So we'll be discussing more of the results of that next year at the 5K, I hope. The next is the lack of sleep, and I am feeling that right now. One of the triggers for cluster headaches is REM sleep, that dream sleep stage where your body really recuperates and the beast wakes you up, and it's really hard to string it's really hard to get a good night's rest when you're being woken up every 2 to 3 hours with an attack. Joe McKay likened it to Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, you're afraid to go to sleep because as soon as you dream, you're gonna get that knife in your eye, or Freddy waking you up. I really like that analogy. The next is oxygen treatment. It's the most effective, but the hardest to get. And personally, I've been going through oxygen like crazy these last few weeks, I'm almost 5 months pregnant, and oxygen is like my only option, and it's frustrating when insurance won't cover any of the cost of it. So that's an ongoing battle for all of us, and hopefully one of these years we will be able to share that it's finally approved through CMS. There are a lot of people taking up the mantle for us and keeping that fight going. Another thing cluster headache patients want society to know are the effects of living with cluster headaches, what they have on us. There's a higher rate of PTSD and agoraphobia, where you're afraid to leave the house. Anxiety and depression are really common among headache disorders in general. And it's really difficult to manage all of that without a good support system. And lastly, we are not a rare disease. We, in the past, have talked about how rare cluster headaches are, and they're really not. They're just as common as Parkinson's disease and autism, actually. So it's time that we start getting the attention for the severity of the burden of our disease. Checking in on the comments. Awesome. So I also want to talk about the rate of misdiagnosis and delayed diagnosis. Cluster headaches are historically believed to be a middle-aged white man's condition, with the ratio of men to women being 9-1, and that's not really true. The male to female ratio is now closer to 2.1 or 2-1, with 2 men to 1 female. But people of color are vastly misdiagnosed for a variety of reasons, ranging from the inability to access care, from qualified headache specialists, to racial and gender bias that persists thanks to the cluster personality. It takes an average of 4 to 6 years for a referral to a headache center or a neurologist, and 77% of those cases are misdiagnosed at the first consult, making the average delayed diagnosis 5.3 to 6.4 years, according to a 2014 study. That's a long time of going through pain and not understanding why, let alone without any of the appropriate treatments. The cluster personality, sorry, my dogs are very loud. Girls, come here. Yeah, cool it. Hey, come here. Come here. Okay, sorry about that. The cluster personality was created by Dr. Graham and presented in 1969 at a headache conference in Chicago, and it was based on very little evidence. It was basically based on his experience in his clinic. He believed that these were the characteristics of cluster headache patients, and they've been debunked since, but the cluster personality still persists, and that is hazel eyes. I don't know why I didn't write that down. Let me pull that up. Okay, it is mainly middle-aged men with lion-like faces, hazel eye color, masculine features, even in women, heavy smokers, heavy drinkers, and type A personality. And that cluster personality does not exist. And unfortunately, a lot of medical professionals still believe that. 2 studies have actually since pointed out that cluster headaches may actually be more prevalent in Black women and men. And personally, it took me 7 years to get people to take me seriously and believe my diagnosis of episodic cluster headaches. If I were Black or Hispanic, it would have taken a lot longer. And going just 5 minutes with an untreated cluster headache attack is bad enough. So we need to continue to work on getting the rates of misdiagnosis and delayed diagnosis cut back. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us tonight and tomorrow. I am so excited to see all of your pictures and see the shirts. I really like the colors this year. And thank you to our sponsors and those who donated or fundraised for the event. It's been really amazing to see how far we've come in just 5 years. 5 years ago in Denver in 2016, there were 27 of us, and now it's a worldwide event with more than 130. So that's been really incredible to see. Please tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. and if you plan on running or walking with us in Eastern Time. And remember to post your photos using the Cure for Cluster phrase on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And I don't think there were any questions in the comments, so I am going to go ahead and sign off early. It's a little shorter this year. Pregnancy and cluster headaches are hard. But again, thank you all for tuning in. This has been awesome, and I'm so excited for tomorrow.